So in the archives we have fashion trade journals from the 1880s through to today, and they're the first thing that you see when you come into our store, and they often get people quite excited or they find them evocative. It's the kind of thing you picture being in a space like this, but sometimes they can also seem a little bit intimidating as well because they're endless bound issues that look like kind of dictionaries or encyclopedias up on our shelves, but actually each one is a set of different fashion magazines that have been bound together to take care of them. And I often encourage students to look in them to delve a bit deeper into the fashion histories that they're researching. And I think they're a really good example of the places you can look in our archives to get ideas but also information. And to not maybe trust a brand or a consumer title's conclusion of what a piece of fashion history or fashion trend life might be. So I'm going to show you inside a couple of these, just giving you some examples of what you might be interested in finding out about. So one of the most popular titles in the journals that we hold within the archives is Drapers Record, and it tends to be the one I direct students towards first if they're not used to doing this kind of research. I call it an umbrella title because Drapers Record, which started in the 1880s, is a journal, a magazine where different aspects of the industry talk to each other. So instead of taking Vogue's word for it about how a trend came about, Drapers Record allows you to delve a bit deeper and research the history of different elements, products, dyes, fastenings, and I think it's really fascinating. It's also a really nice example of getting used to going on a treasure hunt when you're doing archival research, because literally if you were to come to me and ask for a research subject, I would encourage you to just pick your period and then turn page by page to see the different advertisements or articles, the branding, the typefaces, and see what sparks your interest or relates to your subject. So for instance, I've opened it on a random page and there's advertisements for a factory that produces khaki kind of uniform wear, another that's cycle fashions, another that's shop fitters and mannequins. This page is perfect. That turned out very, very well, very lucky. Because personally for me, the first time I looked at Drapers Record was to research the history of corsets. And I think that's a really good example, because if you just look at objects within museum collections, or if you look at kind of archetypal fashion imagery about corsetry, you'll think everyone was tight lacing and that everyone was a kind of smaller body size. But then if you look at advertisements in a title like Drapers Record, you'll get to see the huge range of sizes these products were available in, and also the kind of multitude of types that something like a corset would be. So basically ones that allowed for different bodies and different bodily experiences. So you get ones that are for more flexible to allow for physical exercise, for instance. So yep, on this page we've got advertisements of that nature. I've also used it to research the history of menstrual products, and endlessly I've had students look for all kinds of different reasons. It could be anything from importation of different leathers and leather treatments through to whether it was considered cruel to use feathers in fashion in the 1900s, through to military uniforms, shirting, everyday wear, what would a maid have been wearing and where would she have been buying it from, how did a department store present itself, when did zips start becoming something that were used in everyday fashion. If you come to me with a question, I'll probably direct you towards Drapers Record to help you find the answer.